So the big picture for this lesson is factoring polynomials. Now, factoring polynomials is actually one of my favorite things to do. I just enjoy it. It's a fun little procedure. So let's review factor by grouping. Let's say you have this trinomial here. And factor by grouping, what you do is you multiply the coefficient and the constant term to get negative 80. And then you need to find factors of negative 80 that add to make plus 11. So let's just list the factors of negative 80. 1 and 80, 2, 40. 3 doesn't factor, so 4 and then 20. And then 5 and then 16. And remember that one of these numbers is going to have to be negative. Right here, 5 and 16, if I make the 5 negative, negative 5 plus 16 makes positive 11, and they multiply to make negative 80. So that's my factoring pair. So 2x squared minus 5x plus 16x minus 40. So now I'm going to factor. Out of the first two terms, an x is in common, so x times 2x minus 5. Then plus. Out of the 16x minus 40, there's an 8 in common, and that leaves 2x minus 5. So then comes the grouping. The x plus 8 goes together, and then 2x minus 5. Okay, so that's an example of factor by grouping. Now let's make it just a little more complicated. Let's say you have 4x to the third power plus 20x squared minus 24x. Now looking at these terms, there's an x in common at least, so I can take out a common monomial. In fact, there's a 4 in common too, because 4 divides into 4, into 20, into 24. So I'm going to take out a 4x, and then leave what's left. Well, if I take a 4x out of the first term, I get x squared left, because 4x times x squared makes 4x to the third. And then I get a 5x left next, because 4x times 5x is 20x squared. And then minus 6, because 4x times negative 6 is negative 24x. Now factor what's remaining here. This is actually a very easy one. And you can go through the grouping process if you need. I was just able to do this one mentally. But remember, what you do is you take the factors of negative 6 that add to make 5. So that would be negative 6 and then plus 1. And then those are your factors. Now you're going to see some special patterns to work with here and more factoring by grouping. Just take it one step at a time and pay attention to the details. That's the big picture.